Okay, folks, we are back. I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show. We are the Real Clear Politics here. We are looking for, and we want you to keep an eye out for Eric Erickson. We're concerned about him this morning. We're concerned about Glenn Beck drowning his face in a bowl of Cheetos this morning. We're concerned about Glenn Beck. So we are the Real Clear Politics right here. We've told you from day one. And before I get my guests on the line, let me just say this. We watch, and many out there, and I thank you because I get messages from Connecticut. I mean, seriously, the viewership here is awesome and it's growing every day, fyntv.com. But we watch on a daily basis. Everybody miss it. The big money people miss it. The people at MSNBC miss it that were all dressed in black this morning. Every one of them, Joe Scarborough, Mika. In fact, I love my guest message she sent to Joe Scarborough. I'll have her talk about it in a minute. But we watched, all of them miss it. We watched their famous fancy cameras, their lights. We watched all of it. We watched next up a pundit that has not got it wrong, a pollster that is always right, a guy that always bets the right way. We watched every single bit of that. But what did we tell you here, folks? All the way from the convention, we were the place that were getting true readings on the ground internally, and we were staying connected to rural America. Our theme on this show for how long has been rural America will bring this home, and you did last night. Now, my guest, first of all, I want to say thank you again to everyone in Pennsylvania that worked so hard from coast to coast, every volunteer that believed, were made fun of, that it was fool's gold, it could not be done, and it was always an empty promise for Republicans, but every last one did not give up. And my next guest especially did not give up, and I'm proud to say she's my sister. Her name is Lee Snover. We have had trouble finding common ground, but in our household, politics has always been a unifier. Would you agree, Lee?
Absolutely.
Good morning. I'm glad to have you. I'm sorry you had to listen to all that. I've been a little wound up this morning, much like yourself. Lee Snover, Northampton County GOP chair. That flipped, her and her volunteers flipped Northampton County from blue to red in Pennsylvania. Lee, how do you feel this morning?
Oh my goodness, it was amazing. I'm still pinching myself. I can't believe it happened. I'm going on no sleep here. I'm ecstatic. I'm so proud of Pennsylvania. And I just can't believe it, especially my home county. We're a Democrat county. We're a blue county. Trump was watching our county all day yesterday. I was feeding results to Trump Tower all day yesterday. They were watching 4 specific polls that was going to tell them if they won PA or not, and 4 were in our county. It was intense, but I had such a great feeling of my county that we were going to win. And then Pennsylvania, I mean, I was getting... Early on, State Party was saying, hang in there, we have this. So there were so many naysayers. That's what's so amazing, is what we had to overcome.
Well, let me ask you something, and I'm excited. I got goosebumps here that you're actually a guest of ours, and we don't need to go to Barnacle, and we don't need to see what all of these guys on MSNBC think this morning, and we don't even need to go find out what Karl Rove thinks. You were feeding numbers to Trump Tower yesterday throughout the day?
Yes, and our Republican polls were smoking hot. I mean, lines were 2 hours. Lines were an hour and a half. We had a poll on one of our top Republican polls. Is supposed to close at 8. They were still voting there till 9 o'clock. But, they were in line. I mean, it was legal, but I'm just saying that's how many our top Republican polls were amazing. Lines around the buildings. I mean, and the great news was what they were really tracking is where were the top Republican polls and how amped were they. But they were also tracking the top Democrat poll in South Bethlehem to see if the turnout was 2012 or if it was Obama's 08.
Tell people what that means in Georgia, South Bethlehem poll, because they're excited to hear this. But what does that mean? Why was the Trump campaign tracking the South Bethlehem poll? I know, but tell them.
Okay, in South Bethlehem, the inner city, it's It's probably 95% registered Democrat, and it's all minorities. And it usually, when we lose Northampton County with a candidate like Obama or Hillary, it's because we lost South Bethlehem or we lost Bethlehem City. It's like a microcosm of Philly, like a small Philly kind of thing.
Right.
So what Trump was tracking is what were they doing, not just what were the Republicans doing. We had someone inside that poll the entire day, from the minute it opened to the minute it closed, feeding us numbers every 30 minutes, and we were feeding them to the Trump Tower. And they didn't come out in 08. It was exactly 2012. The numbers of the Democrats in our area did not rise. They were flatlined. There was nothing new. It didn't happen. So that was great news. So it was, while we were tracking these high Republican polls, we were tracking these high Democrat polls as well.
Well, let me just say this. Let me remind the folks. We are talking with Lee Snover. She is in Northampton County, Pennsylvania, and she was in Northampton County, Pennsylvania. They turned. She is the GOP chair of that county, a Trump volunteer coordinator, lead Trump volunteer coordinator in that county and the Lehigh Valley, and also GOP chair of that county. And the reason I bring that up, I was so excited last night when they were having the touch screen, the big media has the touch screen, and they were breaking down Pennsylvania. And when they pointed to Northampton, Lee, I don't know if you were able to see that, and they said, this is big. They said, this is big. They pointed to your county, and they said, this is big. They flipped this county, and I wish they would have said you're volunteers. You want to thank all those people, because I want you to give a shout out and tell us a little bit of how you guys did it. But anyhow, when they said this is big, this county here went for Barack Obama. It's a blue county, and it got flipped. And I knew you were leading the charge there. And I want to also tell people, you are listening to the No Ground Game, the No Trump Campaign Ground Game this morning. Hillary had the ground game. We are speaking with someone that had no ground game this morning. I'm sorry to say it like that, but you got to be enjoying that yourself.
Oh my God! That was the false narrative. We had a huge ground game, and we implemented it. I had over 300 poll workers. I had over 300 or more volunteers on election day. I had an organized list of drivers to the polls. I had an organized list of who needed a ride. We did knock and drag. We had teams going out on election day to Republican households, knocking on the door, saying, "Did you vote?" And if they didn't vote, we were saying, "You want to go right now? We'll take you. Let's go." So we had a ground game. That was a false narrative that we didn't have one. Our county was unified. Our party was unified. And everyone had a role, and everyone was working. We had captains. We had the whole county covered by area. I mean, we had a ground game. And you know what? They just wanted to say we didn't have one because that was the Clinton machine. That was the Obama machine to say that we didn't have one. But Northampton County did.
Well, I just got a message that Hillary Clinton has announced that she's going to speak at 9:30. It's not that important to me. I don't need to hear her. It is the one speech I was hoping to hear, but I don't really need to hear her. Let me just say this. I seen messages on Facebook that you would put out at 10 o'clock at night. Hey guys, 2,000 signs just came in. Need you at headquarters in 30 minutes. So I know you guys pulled it out, but yesterday afternoon we were on the phone and you obviously were busy, so you were a little scattered, not your focus, but you were a little scattered saying, hey, I've got big polling Republican areas that they did not give me enough machines. That's a problem, but the Democrat polling areas seem to have plenty of machines. Did you get that fixed, or how did you handle that, or did you just keep people in lines?
It ended up not being fixed, and that's why our people were in poll, and they were voting still at 9 p.m. last night, even though the poll closed at 8 because they didn't fix it. But I'm going to contact our county executive and our county election board, and it will be corrected next time. We did not have enough machines and enough staff for people to vote in a timely manner. They didn't plan for it. They didn't look ahead, and it's got to be corrected. So I'm going to be getting in touch with them. Thank goodness we pulled it off in spite of that. But I was pulling numbers. I knew how many votes I needed from almost every Republican precinct in the county. So I was on the phone all day getting numbers. I told them what I needed. I would say to Lower Nazareth, I need 2,300 votes out of your precinct. Don't leave there until we've got 2,300 votes. So we were doing that. We had it all broken down to what we needed. Northampton County was running a microcosm of the whole Pennsylvania in our county of what we needed from every township.
Well,
I was texting Lehigh Township at 6 o'clock saying, I need 200 more votes from 2 of your wards. So that's the stuff we were doing. We had it broken down that small.
what were you doing? Just going to your large Republican polling stations and begging people to stay in line and things like that?
Yes. What I did is at 6 p.m. we heard that the Republican lines were so long that we didn't think people were going to stay and vote. So we moved all of our volunteers from small polls, from Democrat polls, from polls that didn't matter. We moved everybody at 6 p.m. to the big polls. We had like 3 or 4 volunteers at the big polls walking the line saying, please don't leave the line, please don't leave the line, stay and vote, get through this, hang in there, make America great again. So we sent all of our volunteers to the top polls and had them help work the line.
Okay, let me switch gears. Last night, I'm for sure, because I'm getting text messages from you and Jerry around the 3 a.m. mark. Jerry calls me at 3:15. Hold on just a minute. Okay?
Okay.
Congressman, how are you?
I'm good, Brian. How are you?
Well, I happen to be live on the air. Can I put you on speaker?
Well, you can definitely do. That's why I'm calling in.
Okay. Lee, stay on the line with me because I have our congressman.
Okay.
Stay on the line. Congressman, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Brian. How are you?
Okay. I'm doing great. I'm on the line with Congressman, the 9th District U.S. Congressman Doug Collins, Republican here. Congressman, why are you calling?
Well, one, it's a great day in America, and also, Brian, when we talked a little bit ago, I also want to emphasize the fact, and I will say it, that Brian Pritchard was on board and called Trump from day one.
It sounds like this was a setup call. Did Now, I'm sorry,
like Brian, you pitched this or something. Is this what you're saying?
I'm on the line with Congressman, the U.S. 9th District, Georgia Congressman Doug Collins. Real quick, Congressman Collins, just if she could stay on, I happen to have the chairman of Northampton Republican Party, not on the line with you, on another line from Pennsylvania. We've been discussing those votes, and they brought the fool's gold in. But, just for me, Congressman, I'm having fun this morning. We're all having fun. Could you just say that one more time? I didn't quite hear it.
Brian, you were on the Trump train from day one, and it's a good day in America today. There's a hope out there, and that's the thing that the thing that I'm so happy about is we all have differences. We all started out a different place, but Trump was our Republican leader. He was our candidate. Proudly, our family voted for him, and now we've got a chance to. As I told an interview earlier today, I said, look, he's now got to govern. It's out of the election stage and into governing. And in that governing stage, he's got a blank sheet. But the greatest part about it is he has a beautiful mosaic of America to begin to get those ideas out there. I can't think of a better way to be. And also the cloud of the last 8 years is lifting. Praise God.
Congressman, real quick, and I appreciate it, but real quick, what's your feeling this morning? Let's go directly. What's your feeling this morning in the House? What are you hearing from the House of Representatives about the opportunity to have 3 branches of government and the things that you're going to be able to move through now? Share a little bit of that excitement. And have you heard from Paul Ryan? Have you guys got a message from the Speaker, or what's going on this morning?
Well, they're exciting. I know Speaker Ryan actually from this past week, if you looked at a lot of his speeches, especially beginning in Wisconsin, where he was helping and talking about Trump and Pence, and that was a good thing. We're going to be talking more today as a conference. I think the biggest thing is here is, one, there's a twofold message here. Number one, we elected Donald Trump our president, but yet the House and the Senate stayed Republican with basically the same membership. That's an interesting dichotomy, which is really good, because it says that people want to see a change. What you're going to see first off is you're going to see executive orders repealed. You're going to see a new life at agencies like the EPA and Department of Justice and things like that. That's going to be a great thing. And then what we're going to be able to do is we're going to be able to work to get a lot of the bills, and you and I talked about this before, the House has passed almost every bill you could want. Now we're going to have a president putting pressure on Chuck Schumer and the Democrats in the Senate to say, you've got to, you need to work here, you need to get out of the way and actually help us pass legislation. So we're going to see, Obamacare going down, Dodd-Frank changes, CFPB changes. These are the kind of things that methodically, one at a time, I'm looking forward to working with. And then, of course, what the president-elect, has talked about, I'm looking forward to see how he wants to do the infrastructure projects. He's talking about how he's intending to pay for them. Those kind of things. There's just a sense of excitement. But there's one other thing, Brian, I can't get off the phone without saying this. The burden of having 3 very elderly Supreme Court justices and having one seat that is not filled, now being filled by Donald Trump and the list that he put forward, and knowing that the Senate, I believe the Republicans in the Senate will do whatever it takes, including, I'm hoping, nuclear option and what they all call it. To Democrats, it's just regular business. For us, it's special. But to put conservative, original intent jurists on that court, that is the brightest shining light of this day in America.
Congressman, I can't tell you enough how much I appreciate it, and you know what, you've been a good friend of the show. We appreciate it. We know that the Republicans are excited. We know the Republicans are excited, and but I'm going to stay on this side and keep your feet to the fire. Can you be okay with that?
No, we need to, and I'm going to turn it as well, Brian. I think the biggest thing is I've always spoke truthfully and honestly. I'm only going to continue to do that. And there's still a lot of inherent structural issues for us to get through. Democrats, we don't have the 60 cloture. Our Senate has got to do, we got to decide how we're going to do that. There's going to be some genuine disagreements on how we move forward. I'll always be honest to talk about that, and I expect, your listeners and what you do a great job of is to have that honest dialogue so that we can be the America that we intend to be. And, and we're not always going to agree, but that's okay, as long as the ideas are getting out there and we put forward a conservative message for this country, and I appreciate you.
Well, Congressman, I appreciate you calling. I thank you so much. And I think I'm going to plan a trip somewhere around January to the Capitol, and I might come by and say hello.
Well, if you don't, I'll be upset. So you have a great day. And
You too. Thank you so much, Congressman. Appreciate it. Folks, that is our 9th District Congressman, Doug Collins. 9th District Congressman Doug Collins. And he had to call and say, BKP's been on the Trump train for days. Lee, are you still there?
Oh yeah, I'm listening.
All right, I'm so sorry to do that,
No,
but
it's all right.
that's our congressman, and maybe you can do something with Charlie Dent. We'll see.
I won't be hearing from my congressman.
That's right. You won't be here from your congressman. Oh, that made my day.
He was the biggest never Trumper in the country. He was the never Trumper on all the national media constantly. He was never Trump. So I won't be hearing from him.
Lee, let me ask you. Let me ask you. As far as Pennsylvania, are you getting any internals on Michigan? I know over there, because I am so sick. I mean, you can't tell me that they don't have enough to call Michigan and put it totally in, unless they have while we're on the phone.
No, I haven't heard anything on Michigan because, Pennsylvania is still so elated. They're still so amped. My phone is blowing up. My Facebook's blowing up. People just can't believe we won Pennsylvania, and all the volunteers are just, ecstatic, and they're still going strong. And so, I mean, I don't think people in Pennsylvania can't think of anything but Pennsylvania right now. That's the truth.
Well, I think we're going to bring in Michigan, and you and I both know I have never seen our cousins get involved in politics. I never have. And I really think we had a bunch of cousins up there in Michigan working pretty hard this time that I was.
Right, yes, we finally did. We did. Yeah, they were all on board. It was just such a team effort everywhere. I mean, everywhere I went, they knew this was it, and we had to do it last night, and we did it.
How long?
They say Pennsylvania is like, Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, and Alabama in the middle. Well, Alabama won last night, and we're pretty happy about that.
Real quick, and I know we got to go, and I appreciate you staying through with our congressman. I had to take that call, but because I talked to him a couple of weeks ago, and I said, look, I was there from day one. I actually have state senators. I've had a couple state senators send me messages last night saying, BKP, you were on the train from day one. And actually, I'm going to say this publicly on this station right now. Speaker of the House of Georgia, David Ralston, told me, I'm going to put it out there, that if Donald Trump won like I predicted he would come and sit on this show and look at that camera and tell everybody that BKP got it. So that word's out to Speaker David Ralston. You remember that day we met in that restaurant and you told me you would come here on camera and tell the people of Georgia that I predicted that. Anyhow, Lee, in PA, tell us a little bit about Philly, and I know you got to go. You're exhausted. You got interviews to do.
Yeah.
Two things I want to know.
Exactly.
Philly.
My phone is ringing.
Philly. How did that pan out? Did he get votes there? Did he get enough there to pull him through?
That was one of the big differences. If you remember, Romney got 0 votes in Philly. Do you remember that game? Well, last night Trump got votes in Philly. I mean, I don't know the tally, but that's one of the reasons the state party was calling it early for him internally, is he had votes in Philly. They kept saying we were going to lose Philly, we were going to lose the Southeast. I mean, we may have technically lost those counties, but he got enough votes in there to sustain it. So, we had votes in Philly. So I'll be interested to see what the numbers end up being there. I haven't looked at any numbers this morning. But, Philly was a factor for us, not against us.
Have you guys gotten any messages from the Trump campaign? I know it's so early, but do you guys expect maybe Donald Trump or somehow, some way to do some kind of congratulations to PA or something like that?
Well, I got to tell you, Donald Trump believed in Pennsylvania. And, that was part of why we were so energized. He would come to Pennsylvania and he would say, I'm so grateful for Pennsylvania. Please remember, he went to school here. All of his kids went to school here. They felt so connected to the state. It was like a second home for them, and they wanted to win it. It was very personal for them. So, I think he's going to be forever grateful to Pennsylvania, and I think you're going to see it. There's going to be a lot of people in his cabinet from Pennsylvania. One of our congressmen, Lou Barletta, is going with him to the White House.
Yeah, Lou. Yeah, I'm with you.
And there's going to be appointments from Pennsylvania. I really believe that. He's going to have a lot of Pennsylvania in the administration.
How much go ahead. I want to know how much respect do you have for the GOP chair Priebus after the way he handled 17 candidates and went through this campaign? Amazing.
It's brilliant. I can't believe how he navigated the Republican Party and brought us together. And the chairman of the Pennsylvania Republican Party needs to get credit too, because Pennsylvania had a lot of never Trump, and he united us too and brought us this far. So, it's amazing to me because a lot of people do not know that the state party chairman for the Republican Party of Pennsylvania went to school with Donald Trump. He went to UPenn with him, and he was determined to get Donald Trump elected, no matter what the Southeast had to say about it. And we have to give him a lot of credit too. Our state Republican Party worked hard for Donald Trump. The staff, they wanted Donald Trump too. They weren't phony. The state Republican Party was sincerely pushing and wanting to win for Donald Trump.
Okay, I keep saying last. I know you're busy, but one more thing. How excited were you? We don't want to end. We keep saying Trump, and that's where our focus is. But how excited were you at about 2:30 this morning when a man like Mike Pence came to the podium and you realized you just traded Joe Biden and this is your vice president?
Oh, I was ecstatic. I think Mike Pence might be the most godly leader that's ever been elected. I really believe that. I think he's the closest to Christ of any leader we've gotten that high in office, and he's going to be guiding Donald Trump, and he already is guiding Donald Trump, and he's so humble, and it's just so wonderful to see such a perfect. Look what a great team they are together.
Hey, look! Last night he was giving Last night he gave a shout out to Ben Carson, Mike Huckabee. I started getting excited at names.
These are all Christian, godly people.
Yes. Hey, listen, Mike Pence. I was so excited. Lisa actually was crying when he came up, and it was just so exciting. Look, you got a busy day. I can't thank you enough. And first of all, we wanted to get you on here just to say thank you to you. America wants to thank you. Our listeners want to thank you for all of the ground information you gave us through this show. You helped keep us focused on this when the other media was out there in left field, no pun intended, right? And we want to thank you, your volunteers, the state of Pennsylvania, and just say how much we appreciate your hard work for helping bring Let's Make America Great Again back to us here in Georgia.
I was at the polls all day, and I was running this ground game and all these numbers from my phone and running back and forth to the office. And whenever somebody would come to the polls for Trump, I would say to them, I am with you. I will fight for you. I will win for you. And we were saying that all day at the polls yesterday, and Northampton County did it.
Are you going to be able to put up with Jerry?
I don't know. Not today. Maybe tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow. We got to end with that. We love our brother Jerry. Hey, we're out of here. Lee, thank you. Go get some rest.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Folks, once again, we have proved to you here that we brought you more ground game information on the ground of what's happening in this campaign. I want to thank that. No, I did not know Congressman Doug Collins was calling today. I did not know that. I got messages, and I don't think he cares to share it. I was getting messages at 2 o'clock this morning. I got a message from State Senator Steve Gooch at 2 a.m. So we're going to come back. I understand Hillary Clinton is going to be speaking at 9:30 this morning, and we're going to be coming back. And don't leave, because like I told you, I have a closer today that I want to share with you. Okay, and I'm your host BKP. Good morning from the office, North Georgia's only live online morning show.